you know how major tournaments go, right? Like sometimes, like who knows? Like Iceland will like beat Finland 4-0 or something. Who knows? You know.
No, sorry.
Sorry, the other way around. Finland will beat yeah, Iceland are not. I don't know, man, because Finland have no goal scorer.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back after a really, really long time. We have taken a nice break after our post WSL hangover, and we are all ready with some Euros energy. So, welcome back to All About the W. Before we start discussing the Euros and the various groups, I'd like to remind everyone to like, subscribe, comment, share. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're old to this channel, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing Group A of the Euros. We're going to be previewing each of these teams, looking at their recent form and what players to look out for in each of these teams. So, Kai, you ready? Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, so let's begin. Group A basically has Finland, Iceland, Norway, Switzerland. Pretty close group in terms of quality, I think. Kai, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think maybe on paper, like possibly Norway is like much better in quality compared to the other three. But in terms of like how, these teams do in like major tournaments and stuff like that, maybe I feel like, yeah, Finland and Switzerland are possibly a tier below. But yeah, I think this is probably one of the more evenly matched groups. I'd say, like, where you don't maybe necessarily have a clear winner, like person who's
Yeah.
gonna like group the team that's gonna finish first.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's start with Finland. What sort of like what do you reckon about their recent form? Like what was their recent performances like?
Yeah, I think, see, the interesting thing about the Euros is the fact that the Nations League has just happened.
Yeah.
And weirdly, like, this is one of those groups where, that is very similar to a Nations League group as well. Like Iceland, Norway, and Switzerland were all in the same group, I believe, in the Nations League as well. So Finland also, like, they fall in a, they were playing at least in the Nations League in what you call a Group B, right? Like Group A is the top tier, and like Group B is the second flight. But yeah, I think Finland. That's the thing. I feel like, they've had some like serious injuries during the Nations League, and you know like they've not had the best Nations League performance. Like they finished third in that group that they were in the second tier, which I'm sure they're very disappointed with. They could potentially climb up to Group A, because they Nations League format is very confusing, right? Like the person who finishes the group that finishes third. Sorry, I should stop saying group. The team that finishes third has the opportunity to go back up and not get relegated to playoffs, etc. So that's a whole other thing. Let's not get into that. But um, I feel like it'll be interesting to see, how well the manager can integrate some of these injured players into the team, because I feel like injuries definitely had a major impact on how Finland performed in the Nations League.
So speaking about injuries and like players, who do you think are the key players to watch out for? I know that Rantala's come back from injury. Do you want to take us through some players that might be interesting to watch out for?
Yeah, I think Rantala is definitely up there with like probably one of the most dangerous players in that squad. Uh, she's been out for Leicester as well for a while, and we saw how much that affected Leicester as a team as well. And the thing that I like about Rantala is like how much of a game changer she can be. Like on her day, she can absolutely like wreak havoc on any back line because she's so fast in transitions, and she, I would say, is also pretty clinical. She's somebody who's pretty comfortable in front of goal. She can also take like a shot from the edge of the box in all those sense. Like I feel like Rantala can be a game changer. The other player is Natalia Koika, who's like one of the most experienced players, I would say, for Finland. And she used to play for Portland Thorns. Now she is with Chicago in the NWSL. So like she's somebody who brings a lot of experience to the team. And then you also have other players who play in the WSL, like for example, like one of your favorites, right? Like Evelina Somanen. We know how good she can be if she can stay fit. So I think a lot of exciting players to watch out for in Finland, I would say. I think that Nations League performance may not necessarily reflect um, where this team is at and the potential of this team. And maybe we'll get to see some exciting young players and exciting things from Finland at the Euros.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on from Finland to somewhat of an underdog, but a team that's been overperforming compared to what their expectations are coming into this tournament. Uh, Iceland. Kai, do you want to like go over the recent performances of Iceland and their form?
So Iceland's recent performances, I guess what we have to fall back on is the Nations League campaign that they had, and I don't think it was the most fruitful Nations League campaign for them. They were in a group, honestly, not a particularly dissimilar group from the Euros draw that they have. Uh, they were in a group with Norway, Switzerland, and France, and they finished third in that group with four draws and two losses, so no wins there. And I mean, I feel like when you look at a lot of Norway's results, you'll see a lot of 1-1s and nil-nils and things like that. So um, largely, they have a more defensive style of play. They try to frustrate teams. And sometimes in major tournaments, staying compact and not conceding goals can be a good thing. But I think from like Iceland's perspective, scoring goals might be a bit tough for them. And we'll talk about some key players that they have, but there's been a general dip in form with a lot of the players in that front line. But on the bright side, they did beat Poland and Austria to qualify for the Euros. They're not the easiest teams out there. But yeah, I think Iceland, given the context of their Nations League draw and the Euros draw, I think they have a lot to be worried about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think uh, definitely the fact that they beat Poland and Austria, and that really bodes well for their like they just need to like pick up points here and there, right? Like they
Yeah,
can just, if they pull off one shock defeat up win and a few draws here and there, you never know. It suddenly looks like a whole different group. Uh,
yeah. That's the
I'm
funny
not
thing. I
really.
don't think there is a shock defeat in this group. That's the funny part.
Yeah, that's
Like
also true.
honestly, this is one of those groups I feel like is really just very tough to call.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously we know there are some Icelandic players in the WSL that we're familiar with, but I'm not generally familiar with Iceland as a team. So you want to run us through some of the key players?
Yeah, I think biggest daughter is somebody I think is going to be absolutely integral. She plays for Bayern. Um, I really like watching her play. She's a set piece threat as well. She's a proper rock in that defense, a proper leader for Iceland as well. I think they have a couple of injuries in the midfield and the front line. Um, John's daughter, again, somebody who's thought of as okay. The names in this team
Yeah.
uh, are, which is why I'm also referring to the club that they play for because there are a few similar surnames, etc. But anyway, Jean's daughter who plays for Wolfsburg, I think I feel like she's thought of as like a really big talent, but did not have like the most productive season with Wolfsburg, pretty much in line with the results that the club had, basically. Then, of course, we have like Dagny Berners-Daughter from West Ham, somebody with a lot of experience, the kind of experience she brings to the West Ham team as well. We seen, she'd gone off on maternity leave. She's come back, and she's been, I feel like she's been really good coming off the bench, especially in the second half of the season. So I think she'll also bring some experience to the team and some kind of stability in that midfield as well as attack. Like she can play in multiple parts of the pitch. Um, I think for Iceland, what I'm really concerned is with their attack, because we know Eiríksdóttir had signed with Leicester, and she did not really, she's not been firing as much as Leicester had probably hoped, right? I don't think she scored any goals in the WSL. Um, and this is going to be a challenge for me. Uh, I think her name is Askia's daughter, who plays for
Yeah.
Leipzig. um, yeah. So I mean, I was just having a look at like some of the stats and some of the games that Iceland have been playing, and she's been, in the Nations League campaign, she's been pretty much a mainstay in attack, and she's not made the squad due to injury. So, like with Johnsdottir not firing, Irisdottir is also struggling, and then Askesdottir is like injured. So I'm just a little concerned for them
Come on,
from like
it'll be the era of Finn.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they will figure something out.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
said this when Leicester bought him like started also, when I was like, come on, Leicester, go score goals now. That didn't happen.
yeah. I'm genuinely concerned for them from like an attack standpoint for
Yeah.
sure.
Moving on to the next team. My God, this is such a like a like a Nordic Scandinavian group, like
Yeah, I
like
was thinking that. Yeah,
uh okay, Norway. What did you make of their form coming into the tournament?
yeah, I think Norway is just it's just one of those teams that just don't make sense to me. They just don't. I mean, their recent performances fine. Like they were in a group with France, Iceland, and Switzerland in like the Nations League. You expect Norway to finish second in that group. They had two wins, two draws, two losses. Both wins came against Switzerland, which, yeah, the team just confounds me because on paper they should be able to like win this tournament. That's the quality of squad that they have. They obviously, I feel like, like there was this time under Hegeriza when, like, the team was going through a tough time. They had issues with their federation as well. But now under Granger, I feel like things have, like, the vibes have gotten slightly better. And it's not been bad under her, but I still feel like we haven't seen like the best of this team. And I
Yeah.
honestly, sometimes you have too many good players who it just doesn't seem to click. But yeah, I think now that the turbulence is gone, maybe this is Norway's opportunity to shine. Maybe, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
the interesting thing that I thought in terms of their recent performances is that, like, I told you how similar this group is to that Nations League group, right? And then they basically drew both their matches against Iceland. So yeah, Iceland are gonna pack out the bomb, see what happens.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. Anyway, I mean this team is pretty stacked, right? Like up front. I mean, from the our quiz era, I will never now forget that Elizabeth Turland plays for Norway. What do you make of like the team in terms of like key players and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's a stacked squad. Like you have a front three of like Guro Reiten, Ada Hegerberg, Callan Graham Hansen. You also have a backup to Hegerberg in Elizabeth Turlin. You have a backup to Hansen in like Celine Bizet. So I mean, this is this is a pretty stacked squad. You have Frida Monum, and Ingrid Engen usually plays in the midfield as well. So Vilda Borisa, who also I think will probably start in the midfield. That's a pretty strong midfield trio. So I'm just, yeah, I'm just stumped by this team. I think obviously the challenge that they have is in defense. I feel like they don't have the most solid of defenses, and I think that definitely cost them in matches. I was surprised to see Maren Mielda fit and being part of the squad, but honestly, I don't think she'll start. Uh, if she does start, I don't think it'd be the worst idea, but I still feel like maybe she is now thought of as more of a squad player. Um, but yeah, in terms of young players, I'm really excited by. I think this is how you say her name, Gobset. I'm pretty sure that's wrong, but she plays for SK Bran, and um, yeah, I think she's like one of those young players. I really enjoyed watching her play in the Champions League last year. I think she's like a super exciting young talent who could really stand out in the Euros for Norway. But yeah, I mean, listen, the thing with Norway is I can list all the players in the squad. Like 75% of them are like game changers, but that is pointless if they can't click as a team. So we'll have to
Yeah,
wait and see.
yeah. Hey, come on. I have faith. I have faith that they can outscore their
Oh, your face.
opponents if nothing else.
Uh-huh.
Okay, capping off the last team in this group, we have Switzerland, which like I know nothing about. So, Kai, do you want to tell us about Switzerland's recent form?
Yeah, it's honestly, I was thinking back to the matches Switzerland have played that I've actually watched, and I actually haven't watched a lot of them, to be honest. I don't have a clear sense of how they play, what their style of play is, etc. But I mean, in terms of like their recent performances, obviously a very, very forgettable Nations League campaign. When you have a team like Iceland in your group, there is always that hope that hey, maybe you can pip them to that third spot. But yeah, they finished on 2 points from two draws. So I think they should be concerned going into this tournament. But the flip side is that they are the home nation, so that comes with a little bit of pressure, but also I feel like maybe there's not a whole lot of expectation, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
of their current form. So maybe hopefully they can kind of draw some energy from the crowd, from it being a home tournament, and like make it to the knockouts, because I think they did make it to the knockouts in the 2023 World Cup, and maybe this is like an opportunity for them to sort of build on that or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, and they have a few like key players. Like if you want to run us through some of them, obviously, we're familiar most with Leah Walty, but there are a bunch of others. You want to run us through some of them?
Yeah, I mean, again, like because I've not watched them a whole lot, I think obviously Leah Walty is a leader in that team, right? And she's obviously coming back off the back of a Champions League win as well. But again, the reality is that she's not played a whole lot for Arsenal this season because of injury, because of selection, etc. So hopefully she's fit enough to be in and around the camp and maybe even come off the bench. Or I mean, honestly, if Leah Walty is fit, she's starting for Switzerland. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Hopefully, she's fit enough to do that. I think the big thing to look out for is Sydney Shortenlive. I think we've spoken a little bit about Shortenlive on this channel when we discussed the Champions League, right? She plays for Barcelona. She's a very, very exciting young talent to watch out for. If you want to check out what Yash had to say about Sydney, go and check out our Champions League quarterfinal first leg review. I think that's what it is.
I
But
see what
yeah,
you did there.
yeah, it's a plug, but I'm racking my brains to see to remember when it was exactly. But definitely, I think she's not really been super impactful for Switzerland, and it will be interesting to see how they can set up to bring the best out of her, because she is a very, very exciting player to watch. And I'm also excited to see some other players who are going to be in the WSL next season, like Iman Bene, who's signed for Man City this summer. Um, and Liv Peng as well, who I think must be the starting. I mean, may not be the starting goalkeeper for Switzerland. I think Herzog. was left out for a few games, but she is the more experienced goalkeeper, so it's possible that she might start. But yeah, I'm excited to see some of these players. I'm sure they're raring to go after having signed for a big club as well. Show what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like because this group is so close in terms of like at least the second position of who gets out,
Yeah.
it'll be really interesting. It gives a chance for some of these players to shine, because I mean they're not going to be decimated like 6-0 most. I mean, hopefully by some
Hopefully.
opposition.
Yeah.
I mean, are there like what do you think in this group is the must-watch game? Like for me, there's a very obvious answer to this, which is the Finland versus Norway game. Like to me, that is the game to look out for. I feel like Iceland will just stink up the place, and like that's fun to watch as well
Yeah.
occasionally. But like watching it again and again can be a little cumbersome. Who do you reckon? What do you think is the match you
Honestly,
personally?
I thought a lot about this. I don't have a match. I think yeah, I would also say probably uh, Finland versus Norway. But yeah, I think it's I feel like this is one of those groups where all the matches have the potential to be exciting, but you know how major tournaments go, right? Like sometimes, like who knows, like Iceland will like beat Finland 4-0 or something. Who knows? You know,
No, sorry.
sorry, the other way around. Finland will beat yeah, Iceland are not. I don't know, man, because Finland have no goal scorers, so I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm a bit yeah, confused, but yeah, I mean, I think I this yeah, I don't know. We'll have to just watch all the games, guys, and
Yeah.
then we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay, crunch time, Kai. Drum roll. Who do you think makes it out of this group?
Okay, so Norway are making it out of this group. If they don't, shame on them. Like seriously, everybody pack up your bags and just like never play football again. All of you just like quit. Sorry, I don't want to be mean, but I genuinely feel like Norway will make it out of this group. I want to say Finland are going to make it out of this group. I want to
Yeah.
be a bit wild and say, like, it'd be nice for Switzerland to make it out, but I just don't see that. I feel like there's just that quality they just don't have. I feel, you know,
Yeah.
that's just my personal opinion. I think Finland and Norway are going to make it out of this group.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's where I am at as well. Uh, anyway, that covers our analysis of Group A in the this Euros tournament. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share. Tell us if we missed out on any players or if we missed out on any talking points or any injuries that we should have mentioned. Keep us informed. Let us know what you think. See you tomorrow with Group B's preview. Bye bye.